guys, it's Jessie and welcome back to my channel. So in today's video I'm really excited because we are doing a ranking video and we're talking about eyeshadow palettes. So in today's video I'm going to be ranking all of the eyeshadow palettes that I bought / tried in 2021, bar one, which is this one. This is the Mcgrath Celestial Odyssey palette and it is absolutely stunning. I got it for my birthday, but I've only played with it a couple of times, so don't think I can properly rank this, so I'm not going to be including that in today's video. But besides that, all these palettes here are going to be ranked today and I'm very excited. So I'm not going to be doing this in a kind of sit down way, I'm going to be doing it kind of as an overview way so you guys can see my thought process whilst I rank them. I'm going to do this similar to the way Smoky Glow does, and I've got 31 palettes here to rank and I'm going to be separating them out into groups of 8, so my bottom 8 and then ranking those, top 8, middle 8 sorry, and then top 8, and I just think that's the easiest way to do this. So first things first, I'm going to get kind of 10 of my kind of probably least favourites. Also I do want to preface that I do like all of these palettes, I would declutter them if I didn't, but I'm going to get my 10 least favourites and start ranking. So I need to move some of these out of the way. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 palettes that I know I want to keep in this section, and I need to pick one of these to kind of go into the group above. I think it's going to be this one. I don't love some of the shimmers in here, but I think overall this palette is just stunning aesthetically wise, and I'd probably rather keep it because I adore Odinside. So these are my bottom 8 palettes. Okay, so I again want to say I don't dislike any of these palettes. I love having them in my collection. If I didn't like them I would declutter them, but I think just going off the amount I use them and also the kind of quality I think and my overall just how much I would miss them if I decluttered them, these probably are my bottom tier, I guess. So now I'm going to try and put these in some kind of order. I know I want this one probably last, so I think I'll put that one last and then that one after it. Then these two probably nearer the top, and then maybe this one. This is so hard. I think then this one. Okay, so I think this is going to be my order. So in last place we have my Huda Beauty Coral Obsessions. I bought this at TK Maxx with a little voucher and I do think I do regret it. I mean, I know this is originally like £24 and I got it for like £9, so I wasn't too upset about that. But this is just a very average palette. I mean, I will be able to pan it eventually, like it's got very kind of wearable tones for me, but it's just not something I reach for. I mean, I will be using it for a week in my 1 week 1 palette next year, so I'm quite excited for that. But the main issue I have is kind of with the shimmers. They're just a little bit lackluster when I use them. I mean, they're kind of okay swatched out. I mean, I don't know why I just swatched them so close together, but they're just very average. I have a bigger Huda palette and I much prefer that one. That's actually one of my favourite palettes, but just overall I'm not super overtaken with this one, so that is why this is going to be in last place. Then after that we have the Lime Crime Prelude Exposed palette. I was actually debating making this one of my Ban That palettes for next year because I think these 5 shades here would be super easy for me to pan, and probably the black too, but I thought maybe the next year after that because I've just ended up picking out other palettes. This one is only done here because of use. I just for some reason don't reach for this. I know I could definitely create some really pretty looks and I'm pretty sure I will in the future, but just for some reason I don't reach for this. I haven't put it into a pan those eyeshadows, so that's also probably why, but I'm really excited for, as I mentioned, my 1 week 1 palette because I think I'm going to really enjoy reaching for this, but just I've only used it maybe once or twice, so I really don't think it's fair for me to rank it any higher just based off of that. Then here we have my Nars Afterglow palette. Sorry, you can see in the mirror, but this is a really pretty palette, but I just think for the price I wouldn't say the quality kind of matches up. It's not poor quality at all, it's very pretty actually, and these are a lot of the tones that I like, but just overall I just wouldn't really kind of reach for this, I don't think. It's got pretty shimmers, but they are quite average, I think. I wouldn't take away the fact that it's a very pretty palette. I don't think I'll be decluttering it anytime soon. I do enjoy it. I actually would really like to try these with a glitter primer underneath. I didn't use them with a glitter primer before, and I actually think that might be a really nice kind of way to kind of get me back into this palette. I think that might actually be really, really pretty with a glitter primer underneath, so I do definitely want to give that a go. Then after that, I have my Mcgrath Sublime Ecstasy eyeshadow palette. This is fine. A few of the shimmers in here are just a little bit lackluster, so this gold in the middle is really nice, but this one's just a bit of a regular shimmer, and this one's kind of duochromy but also kind of not. Like sometimes it looks red and then sometimes it looks like a kind of proper golden kind of dark gold colour. But yeah, it's like quite a yellowy gold. I don't know how you can see it. I think it's kind of reflecting reddish, but it does look very like yellow gold to me. But yeah, this palette is overall nice, but I don't like this shade, and this shade's in my pan as eyeshadows and I don't love it, so that takes out like 2/5 of the palette already. And I mean, I only got this for £11, so I don't mind too much, but it's just very cheap, and I'm just not a huge fan of it, so that one will stay in that place. I'm not going to try and keep count because last time I just got so confused with all the numbers. Then next we have my Colourpop Sandstone palette. I really like this, but I've just come to find that I don't love Colourpop's formula. I find them a little bit powdery and the shimmers aren't incredible. I have hit pan in Desert Sky. It's this really gorgeous kind of greenish, like kind of duochromy toppery shade. It's really, really pretty. And I do really enjoy this palette. I think the quality is fine. But I just have other palettes that I prefer, and like looking over to the palettes that I have saved, they are some of my absolute favourite brands. Like there's no way Beauty Bay could be in this bottom group. There's no way that some of my more indie palettes could be here, and that's just why Colourpop's fallen this far down. I think the quality is good, especially for the price. It's very good, but yeah, just unfortunately I don't reach for it over my other shadows, just because I kind of prefer the experience of reaching for those. But I do enjoy this. I pulled it into my pan as eyeshadow 3 times for this shade, Pueblo, and for Wild Creek, and I enjoyed it all that many times, so I'm very happy to have this one in my collection. And then next up is the Garden Variety. I really like this palette. I think the colour story is definitely very interesting. It's definitely very light, but when I look at this palette, I definitely think of a lot of different stuff I can do. So I definitely would love to reach into this one a bit more. This one took like 50 uses to hit pan on. It was ridiculous. But yeah, this is still a really nice palette. Just again, I feel very similar to it than I do the Colourpop Sandstone. Then we have this Tartelette Little Toasted palette. This is kind of the perfect kind of travel colour story for me, I guess. I really like these shades. I have a different palette that I like to bring travelling at the moment because it's got a really good brow shade for me in there, but I think this is also definitely a good one for me to bring travelling. The shimmers are fine, and it smells amazing. It smells so sweet. It's like delicious. And yeah, I have got a few pads in here too, and yeah, I definitely I definitely can get a lot of looks out of here. I love a good warm toned brown, so this is definitely a good palette for me. It's just kind of very fine, which is why it sits here. I feel like most of my collection I think is exceptional. So my bottom grouping is the shadows that I just find good and fine, and they're not like, oh my god, these are amazing. But I don't have any that I would say these are bad quality, just to put that one out there. Then we have the Maybelline News of New York. This is a really pretty drugstore palette, and we do actually finally have a pan in this shade here. I don't know how well you can see, it took forever, but these are actually really, really pretty shades. The mattes in here are incredible. I think they're really high quality and definitely kind of go further than the drugstore price. They are really, really lovely, and I really actually do enjoy this palette whenever I reach for it. It's a classic warm brown palette. I think again I could take this traveling. It would be the perfect palette because it's not too excessively big, and it was very, very cheap, which is always a great thing. So yeah, this is a really lovely palette, especially for the price, and I think it's great, so I'm really happy to have that one in my collection. Then we have two that this time last year I don't think I could have ever fathomed putting in my bottom grouping, but these are just two ABH palettes. So I bought the Modern Renaissance earlier this year, at the very start of this year actually, and I haven't got around to using it that much. I think it's a classic, it's a gorgeous palette, but I would need to pair something else along with it, just because I like to just because these two shimmers are slightly too light for my kind of preference. Sorry, my camera cut off. I don't know when I was last speaking, but I was basically just saying that I'd want a shimmer a bit darker than these two, and therefore I'd have to pull in another palette. But yeah, this is still a really high quality palette. And then we have the Carli Bybel palette. I think this is a really gorgeous palette, but I just haven't reached for it that much. I definitely don't think it deserves the hate that it gets, but I think it's a really pretty palette. It's really nice. So I definitely want to reach into this a bit more. And this is where it kind of gets a bit harder for me, because from here I actually really enjoy a lot of these eyeshadows, and it was really difficult to rank because I've tried so many amazing eyeshadows this year, and this one is like a really enjoy for me, and I think it's going to get a lot harder in the next section. But yeah, this was my bottom 11, I believe. Oh, my bottom 10. This was my bottom 10, I believe. No hate to any of these palettes. I really enjoy them. If not, I would declutter them. How many times can I say that? But yeah, these are just my bottom grouping. Okay, so now I need to pull in 10 or 11 more palettes that I feel will fit into my kind of middle grouping. Okay, so here are my next 10 palettes. That was actually really difficult to decide. I feel like these palettes are just such high quality and I really enjoyed them all. So yeah, now I've got to rank these. So I know Freya's probably going to be in the bottom section because I was toying with that for the last one, so that can go there. Then I think I want to put the Golden Age palette and then Subculture. I think then I'll put Enchanted, then Sunset Horizons. This is so difficult. So I think I'm pretty pleased with that. Last for this section, we have the Odinside Freya palette. I really like this, but I do think that this was their first palette, so the quality wasn't amazing. Overall, it's nice. The shimmers are fine. There's a couple of like kind of lighter toppery shades like that one that are just a little bit sheer. And then you've got kind of shades like this, which are just a little bit more shimmery. That one's stunning. But then there's ones like this one here, which is just kind of like a basic shimmer, like metallic shade. So you can, there's a lot of different formulas in here. And I just kind of prefer the Odinside formula that's in the Alva and the Alba 2 palettes, but this is still a really pretty palette. The mattes in here are so high quality and I really enjoy this, plus just the aesthetics of the palette is gorgeous. Then we have the Beauty Bay Golden Age palette. I really love the shimmers in here. I think they're exceptional quality. They're really stunning, really sparkly. They're that kind of wet Beauty Bay formula that I'm obsessed with. Just unfortunately, hi, you can see me. Unfortunately for me, the mattes are quite cool toned. I don't like cool tones on me whatsoever, especially when it comes to neutral colours. So that's why I wouldn't necessarily reach for this palette altogether. I just think it's too cool for me, and I don't like the way the mattes look on me, unfortunately. So then we have the Abh Subculture Palette. I picked this one up very recently and I don't feel like I can put it very much higher than that because I've only used it twice so far. But overall, I really enjoy this palette. I think the colour story is so interesting. I have no issues with the shades, like with powderiness or anything. The shade Cube is such a gorgeous white to pink duochrome. You can't see it in the pan, but also Electric is an amazing kind of green to gold duochrome too. It's a really stunning palette. I really adore it. So I'm really happy that I have this in my collection now too. Then we have my Sigma Enchanted palette. This palette is really pretty. I really do enjoy it, but I just think overall it is a little bit more of a difficult colour story for me. It's got a lot of dark and grungy colours, especially these three down here. And I do find it difficult to create a fully cohesive look using kind of a variety of the shades. But I think the shimmers just in here are so pretty. They're so sparkly, really stunning. And I really enjoy the looks that I do come up with when I use this. So I think I just need to take a bit of time, maybe watch some more videos on this palette to get a bit more inspiration. But overall, really pretty. I do enjoy it. And then we have my Beauty Bay Sunset Horizons palette. This is a really stunning palette, a really kind of gorgeous, like slightly different take on a classic rainbow, and I really like these shades. I don't think the quality is quite up there with their like Age of Opulence, Wilderness and Jade palettes. It's kind of similar to the Nikki Tutorials, if not ever so slightly worse, but I think that's kind of showing the order in which these palettes came out, and they definitely got better over time. So yeah, this is a really stunning palette. I really enjoy using it. I haven't got a full chance to play with a lot of these shades, but the ones I have played with I really do enjoy. Then we have my Sigma Corda Rosa palette. I really like this. I think this is so pretty. I was eyeing this for a long time and then kind of took it off my wish list and then picked it up earlier this year, and I really like it. I think the quality is really high. I really like the colour story, and yeah, the only reason it's not higher is just because I absolutely adore all the other palettes, so it's really difficult for me at this point to rank them. But yeah, this is really pretty, and I find I struggle to say much bad about it. At this point, it's really just kind of colour story for me and how inspired I get looking at the palette. And then following closely behind it, we have the Sigma Ambiance palette. I just love golden browns, and this is just that palette for me. I think it's really pretty, and I really enjoy the shades. I think I can just come up with so many gorgeous neutral looks, and this is just such a pretty version of a neutral palette. Like, yeah, it's very neutral, but it's also just like so stunning. Then very similarly, I think these palettes are probably very similar if you hold them next to each other, but we have the Urban Decay Naked Honey. I again adore this palette. I think it's such high quality, and it's definitely my favorite Urban Decay palette that they've ever come out with. I love mustard yellows, so I absolutely adore this, and yeah, this has been really fun to use this year, and I love it. I always come up with such gorgeous looks. Then I have the Odinside Sublime palette, Sublime. This is new to me, and it is stunning. I love this. So I haven't had a chance to use a lot of this. I've used these two shades here, this shade here, and this duochrome kind of more wet looking shade down here, which is my favorite. That is what it looks like there, just stunning, immaculate. But like even the other shades that are kind of more metallic are still super high quality, and I'm super excited to play with this purple. The only shade in here I think is a bit of a dud is this one down here. It's very hard and then just kind of looks like that, and then even swatched out it is really kind of lackluster. So unfortunately that one is not kind of my cup of tea, but the rest of this palette is stunning, and I've really enjoyed using it, and I've got so many compliments when I use this shade, way more than normal on my eyeshadow. So yeah, really enjoyed this one. And then lastly, for this section, we have my Beauty Bay Age of Opulence palette. So this is just a stunning palette, but unfortunately I can't rank it higher because I haven't used it loads. I think this is a stunning colour story. I literally could not fault it. I think it is a gorgeous colour story. I mean, maybe like some more, maybe a lighter purple shimmer or a lavender, because we know how I feel about lavender, but then again that might not have gone with the theme. But yeah, stunning palette. The only reason I can't put it higher is because I've only used it once, I believe, which is atrocious. But I was just getting into so many palettes when I got this, and I was focusing so much on my palette eyeshadows. So next year I'm definitely excited to focus on this one a lot more, and I just think it's absolutely gorgeous. Like the shades in here are incredible, and I'm really happy to have this in my collection, even though the outside packaging is so ugly. But yeah, that was the middle section of my palettes. Now I have to go through the really hard job of picking out my top ones and ranking them. So wish me luck. Okay, I'm going to try and split these into my top and then just kind of my lesser liked ones, just to make it a little bit more easy for myself. But I really think this is going to be very difficult. I think I'm going to pop this here, then you, then you. Such a big palette. Then this one, then, oh, this is so difficult. This was quite difficult for me, way more difficult than I thought it was going to be. I shouldn't be this emotionally attached to things, but this was very difficult for me to rank, which is a good sign because it shows how many amazing palettes I tried this year. But in the bottom of my top section, I have my Abh Ambrosi palette. This is stunning. This is my favourite Abh palette. It's such high quality. This shade Bar is just like immaculate. Like, it's so sparkly, so glittery, gorgeous. I love it. And the rest of this palette is really pretty too. The other shimmers are stunning, and the kind of warm browns in here are really gorgeous. I just have only kind of used a small section of the palette, kind of only really these two shades and the browns, and I'd love to kind of play with it a little bit more, so that's why it's kind of the bottom of this section, even though I love it. Then we have my BH Cosmetics Lost in Los Angeles palette. This is new to me. I picked up a Black Friday, but I love it. I'm really loving pastels at the moment and kind of like subtle, colourful looks, and this is just that in a palette. These shades are so pretty, and I can use them together, or I can reuse them really nicely in tandem with other palettes. So this is a great companion palette to have, even though it does work separately by itself. Then we have my Made by Mitchell Head in the Clouds palette. This palette is really, really pretty. I love it. I think it looks stunning. These shimmers in here are really nice, and also the mattes blend really nicely. I do find that I have to build the mattes a little bit, but I don't mind that drastically. But yeah, this is a really, really pretty palette. I definitely would pick up more things from his brand. I think it's really high quality, and I have really, really enjoyed using this palette. So yeah, I'm really happy to have it in my collection. Quality wise, it is just not quite as good as the other palettes I have up here. And I do find the colour story a slight bit intimidating, just so I feel like it's a lot of different colour and I don't 100% know how to match them up together. Then we have the gorgeous Beauty Bay Wilderness palette. This palette is famous for a reason, and she is stunning. I love this. I think this is a really gorgeous palette. My favourite shade's actually this little quad down here, surprisingly enough, but I really enjoy this palette. This is what got me properly into Beauty Bay, and after I picked this up, I picked up literally all their palettes that I could. This is stunning, and I really, really enjoy it, and I can't wait to be able to play with it a little bit more next year. Then I have the Odinside Alpha palette. I'm actually wearing this on my eyes today. I'm wearing these two shades here, these greens, and it is stunning. Firstly, the packaging is just incredible for this palette. I picked this up on Black Friday and I love this. It is stunning. I don't love that there's two pressed glitters in there, but I mean, they are pretty for pressed glitters, I will give them that. But the rest of these shades in this palette do make up for it. Again, it's got the kind of subtle colour that I like. I loved this look because, I mean, I'm wearing green today, but I don't think it looks over the top. It looks very pretty and reasonably kind of, what's the word, subdued maybe, but not in like a it lacks colourway. So yeah, this is a really, really pretty palette, and I knew it was going to be ranking very highly. It's super high quality, and the shimmers are just ridiculously creamy. It's gorgeous. Then we have my Beauty Bay Jade palette. This is my favourite Beauty Bay palette. It's stunning. I do think this could have been split up into two palettes, but overall I really do like it. I think it's pretty, especially the top half. The top half is my favourite, and yeah, it's just really gorgeous. It's got so many of their really amazing quality shades, and I just think the variety here is amazing. The quality is top notch, and I really do enjoy it, and I definitely want to play with it a little bit more. Then we have my Charlotte Tilbury Bejeweled Eyes to Hypnotize. This palette is just so easy. If you want a simple look that you know is going to last and look good, then this is literally the perfect palette. My favourite shade is the Happy Glow kind of trio, especially this one down here. But all of these shades are so pretty. The shimmers work in the crease, which is incredible. And then you can put them on a lid with a finger and they are just so shimmery and gorgeous. And yeah, the quality in here is really, really high. I mean, the palette isn't super weighted. It does feel a tiny bit cheap in the packaging, but overall, I really do love this. And I think this quality is incredible from Charlotte Tilbury. Then we had where I really started to struggle, my Natasha Nona Metropolis palette. I picked this up this year and literally could not regret it if I tried. It is stunning. I love the kind of shades over on this side, and then the greens and the oranges. I just think this is kind of my perfect palette from Natasha. Picked this up for £88, I believe, so obviously expensive, but on a bit of a discount. But yeah, I love this one, and I don't think this will ever leave my collection, and maybe I'll end up panning it one day. Like, that's how much I adore it. So yeah, really, really happy to have this one in my collection, and obviously this was going to rank high. Just the other ones are a little bit more colourful, and for some reason, like, who even am I? If you told me this a year ago, I would not have believed you, but I just prefer colour now in my eyeshadow. Like, I don't even know who I am, but yeah, this is a stunning, stunning palette. And then my top three. So I have the Collidos Escape Pod palette. This is stunning. I've lusted after this for so long, and now I finally have it in my collection. I adore purples. I really like greens now in my eyes, so I've really, really enjoyed using this palette. I think she is absolutely gorgeous. So yeah, literally no regrets. I'm so happy to have this in my collection. The quality is exceptional. Literally probably my top three palettes overall, not just my top three palettes of the year. Stunning, really, really gorgeous. Then I have the Huda Beauty Mercury Retrograde. I got this for free with like gift vouchers and stuff, so I was very, very happy about that. But this is the palette. She is stunning. Ignore the shade that I dented and had to repress, but I just can't get over how pretty these two look on the lid with this kind of purpley look, and then also you can do a little blue one, and the golds in here are stunning. So I really love how I can do a little bit of colour. I love my purple, but also kind of get some more neutrally stuff over here, and also a little bit of pop of blue. I think this palette is stunning. My favourite Huda palette by far. I've been lusting after this one alongside this for so long, and I'm so happy I finally have it. I definitely think it's the best palette she's ever come out with, and I would love to see her branch into some more colourful stuff, because I know she's sticking very much to the nudes, but this is stunning. I love it, and I feel like I'm running out of things to say with a lot of these palettes just because I love them so much. My top palette that I've tried this year is the Pastel Roses Trick or Treat palette. I discovered their indie band this year, and I was gonna kind of make an order maybe for Black Friday, and then I saw they were coming out with their first palette, their first pre-made palette, and I think they're gonna do more. This is stunning. This palette is so pretty. The mattes are great, they're really pretty, and I really like the colour story in here. I mean, I definitely think it could have been bigger, you could have had more, but I think for a nice little concise colour story, it is amazing. I love that we've kind of got brighter colours and then grungy ones on this side, and these shimmers are immaculate. The shade Treats is my favourite in my collection. It is just incredible. Like, the sparkle is insane. Like, look at that reflect. Like, oh, that's such a stunning purple. I love using that one with this just in the crease, and as a simple plain look, it's gorgeous. But the rest of these shades, Velvet and Sin, are gorgeous, and Sultry is a really pretty purple to green duochrome. I don't know how we can see, but yeah, this palette is stunning. I can't wait to play around with it more, and it is just gorgeous. So yeah, that is my favourite. But yeah, that was all of my eyeshadows I tried this year ranked. I did not know if I'd be able to do this, and I did. I'm very happy with all of these rankings. I'm very pleased with everything, how it's sitting, and I don't think I would change anything. I'm super pleased with all the palettes I tried this year. I think I had a super successful year for trying palettes. But yeah, I really hope that you guys did enjoy this video. If you did, don't forget to give it a like down below. Hit subscribe, turn the bell to join a little club, and make sure you turn on all notifications, and then be notified every single time I post a new video. If you want to watch one of my other videos, there'll be 2 on the screen now to pick from, as well as a load linked up in the cards from earlier. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!